Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we have a dwarf versus green skin matchup. Um, Very fun matchup. Um, and I think an even matchup in the current meta of the game. I think both sides have a pretty, if you play it right, you can win. And I don't think that was so in the earlier versions. But as the buffs come in for the dwarves and the runesmith and the rune lord appears, they definitely, I think, are in the running here. Um, so I have a main line here of 4 dwarf warriors. I have one dwarf warrior on each flank. I have a miner in the far back here, and a vetted up dwarf warrior here, just because I had some extra money, and I wanted something to help deal with any cavalry if my slayers were otherwise occupied. And the slayers, of course, are the dragonback slayers. And here I have the goblobber, and so this is just like essentially a more accurate and morale reducing version of the grudge thrower. In the middle here I have 4 units of rangers, and I like these guys now just because they're cheaper than coilers, and they can move a little bit faster, which is nice. Especially for repositioning when cavalry gets in or lords get in, they can get into the spot to support their other units quicker, and I think they're just all around better. And 50 gold cheaper is not something to scoff at. In the front here, I have a Grumbling Guard on this side, and a Longbeard with great weapons on this side, and they'll be just helping to add a morale boost here, so that my guys don't rout away when fighting the inevitable Black Orc, who these Dwarf Warriors will have a very hard time facing. I have also I have a Rune Lord and a Rune Smith. I've taken to bringing this combo to almost every battle. The Rune of Wrath and Ruin is spectacular. The resistance boost is spectacular, and the armor is fine. It's extra armor you can never scoff at. Okay, yeah, so he has a Doom Diver catapult here. I might have brought the what's it called? The Rock Lobber. But the Rock Lobber does not have anywhere near the accuracy of the Doom Diver. And this Doom Diver will do a lot of damage here to my Rangers. So when I saw that, I was a little worried. Just because my Rangers are not armored, and that'll do full damage to them. But, I wasn't going to be able to go get it, so that's that. In the front, there are boys in the front. I like these, little meat shield for your Black Orcs. But you do have to be aware that they are going to dole some of the charge here of your Black Orcs. In the air, he has a Orc War Boss here on a Wyvern, and this guy is going to be causing me trouble the entire game. You'll see and find out. He has a huge line here of Black Orcs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and one Orc Boar Boy Biggin here in the back. These guys are mostly for anti-large. You can see their spear here. So I definitely think that the regular Orc Boar Boys would be a better pick here. Just more cost effective, and they have shields which would protect them from any Rangers firing back at them. And great choice here with the Night Goblin Shaman. It'll be severely reducing the effectiveness of my Dwarf Warriors in my front line. Over here in the back, you can see he has a Goblin Wolf Rider. Great choice. Again, I couldn't see that though. So I'm immediately going to start targeting his Black Orcs here with my Grudge Thrower. Let's wait for it. Oh! Sends them flying. I don't think it actually killed any models. So actually, wow, it killed like 5 models. And you're gonna see his goblins shooting back here.
Strike out.
Here you can see him come in. His lord's gonna come in here, but he can't see my rangers. Oh, decimated the lines in the front. I think he's shooting here at this grumbling guard. Here, yeah, you can see he gets scared off by my Coilers. My Rangers, sorry. And they really don't do any damage. But I don't know why. But anyways, I'm going to keep switching targets here. Try and just injure the Blackworks across the row as much as possible. Just in my little compact box. Oh, you see how just that one shot did so much damage? Ooh. Yeah, I don't think any of those guys are getting back up. I like their little, they have their axes out, that's nice. Great use putting this guy here in the forest to the back. You can see I'm doing a little bit of damage here to the Black Orcs, but not much, not as much as I expected. But you can see how quickly their morale drops. And here he accidentally comes in range here, and I get a couple shots off of my Rangers. I'll take everything I can get on his cavalry. So my Rangers here are going to open fire. I'm going to turn this one around actually to scare off this war boss and just try and deal some damage. And I'm going to switch these targets around to their Black Orc cousins. When I can, when they come in their range, so I'm just taking the opportunity to damage these guys as they come. Though the shields will prevent a lot of that damage. So here, yeah, you're going to see me start switching targets. And they have no shield, so it will do okay. Here you can see I switch targets to this guy. And my dwarves here will slaughter these orc boys. I have no worries about that. My Rangers, however, are going to do very poorly against Black Orcs. But the only saving grace is they have no shields. Here you can see I cast the Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin, and here I cast the just regular one, and it's going to do significant damage here. My Miners are going to get charged. I'm going to bring my Slayers, or I'm going to actually move my Slayers back to this guy. I'm going to move my Dwarf Warriors over here. I'm pretty confident in my Miners to be able to deal with the Wolf Riders. You can see all my stuff popping, and I'm hitting everybody in my whole army here, which is very important. And actually, he did a good job here of knocking my dwarves off my Goblobber. But if I can just like outlast his main line, I think I have a chance here. I'm going to engage behind my troops with my Longbeards to help even up the fight slightly along the line. Oh, you can see that huge damage there. And he pulled out here to get away from my Slayers. Smart move. I'm actually going to move, I think, these Rangers to shoot at this Orc Boar Boy. You can see the Orc Boy lines are breaking here, and now it's just going to be the Black Orcs. And you can see my Grumbling Guard here helping to even up this fight a little bit. Here you can see the Wyvern comes down again. I keep sending my Slayers after him, but even with the speed debuff that they give to everybody around them, the Wyvern is still able to get away every single time. I don't know why. But you can see I'm keeping my Runesmith and my Rune Lord nice and safe out of combat. You can see he just pulls right out, no big deal. Whatever. Even though I'm right on his tail. Oh, there, he turns around. But anyway, so there's still a couple of healthy Blackworks here. I'm going to charge this Dwarf into the help this Warrior. I'm going to move these Miners around to flank. I've kind of moved my line back here. And this must have been just a misclick, because putting Itchy Nuisance here on these guys, definitely not where you want it. Here, my Slayers get caught up in this fight with the Black Orcs, and that's not something I want. And I'm going to move my Quarrelers here back and try and use them to clean up any of the like Orc units that are coming back into the battle. You can see, here he is again, coming back in, making my life difficult. I use my Runesmith and my Rune Lord here to break this Black Orc. But I'm going to bring them back in here soon. Actually, I missed micro my Runesmith, and he does not get back anytime soon. But my Grudge Thrower here is going to be shooting at some stuff. Make sure it stays away. Here, this Wyvern back rear charges my Longbeards and my Dwarf Warriors. Great move, and then he actually pulls through and around, trapping my Slayers in this fight. Perfect way to use flyers. That's exactly what you want to do. But at this point, my battle kind of splits off into two segments. The middle fight's over, and now it's on the flanks. And that is where this army starts to become weaker, because you can't have the double boosts here. Look at that, embarrassing. I used the Rune of Oath and Steel before I noticed he was over there. So I'm going to bring this guy back here soon. Here you can see he's popping Wah. That's going to make this guy these Black Orcs go crazy on my poor Dwarf Warriors. They're not going to really stand a chance. But soon I'm going to bring my miners with pickaxes here in the back. My miners here poised for rear charge, but it's just not happening. My micro is elsewhere with my Runesmith, and that's fine here. Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin here. Might have been better to pop it on this one. The more units it has in the group, the more damage it will do. Here, my Runesmith finally comes back in. Here you can see I popped my Rune of Wrath and Ruin, and then I'm going to pop the damage resistance buff here in a second. Here you can still see easily getting away from my Slayers. He's just too fast. Maybe it's because it's uphill, but I'm just not able to lock him down. Here I'm going to turn these spoilers, shoot him back at these Black Orcs that are coming into battle. Back in the battle. My Dwarf Warriors here, again, mismicroing, not getting into combat. Very bad move. You can see here, great job of microing this guy. Just keeps him moving, charges, gets him out. Definitely exploiting the slowness of the dwarves to its best extent, which is what you have to do versus this kind of heavy infantry Runesmith, Rune Lord build. Here, that was a good charge here, my Runesmith. He definitely did some damage. These Black Orcs, I gotta take these guys out. But actually, my unit runs out of ammo, and so they're gonna pull their axes and bravely charge into death. But that's too scary for him. Some crossbowmen scare him back off. You can see he's doing a good job here, taking out my Runesmith. But my Slayers are on the way, and there's not much left here. So the balance of power is gonna throw the morale here fight back in my favor, and it's gonna allow my Runesmith here to live. I'm gonna bring all my rest of my troops and consolidate here. Once the Dwarf does that late in the game, there's not really much you can do, especially with the endless magic, with the endless winds of magic and damage that is Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin. The longer the game goes on here, the better the dwarves will do. The more free hit points they're taking off your troops. But anyways, good game to my opponent here. The Black Orcs are definitely something that are an asset here. I probably would have cut a couple of these off, brought maybe 4 units of Nasty Skulkers. That would have allowed, instead of 2 of these guys, you could bring 4 Nasty Skulkers. That would have allowed you to kind of get around the flanks and stop me from reinforcing the front line engagements with so many extra troops here. But yeah, good kills here on a couple of the orcs, bad kills on these 2. These are probably the ones I shot with the Goblobber. 150 kills on the Doom Diver. That is amazing. Definitely paid for itself. Got a chevron. Orc boys did their job meat shielding. Orc War Boss. I might have to start putting on a Wyvern. That was pretty good. And yeah, definitely I think I would have brought more just the regular Orc boys. But maybe potentially this does more armor piercing damage, but that's something I'd have to look up. Over here, good 56 here on this Goblobber. Most of that Black Orcs, so that's pretty good. 73 on the Grumbling Guard. That's nice. These two got shut down. This Dwarf Warrior actually did pretty well, but not very many kills here on the Rangers. I really was expecting nasty Skulkers, and so that's what I was going to shoot these guys with, or Giants, or Spider. So that was really what I brought those for. And so they weren't as much of a use if the other player doesn't bring what you brought to counter him. Definitely, I think more kills here on these guys than it says, or at least a lot more HP damage. Definitely help to even up those fights in the middle by bringing down their health via magic damage rather than armor. Definitely expect more of these Slayers next time, and that's that.